I'm gonna share with you my most favorite barrel racing runs. So my most embarrassing or funniest barrel run was when I was in Mobile, Iowa. I was running barrels, and I think it was our fall season of 2016. Just like I normally do, I do circles just outside the gate before I send him down the alley or through the gate. And for some reason, he wasn't wanting to go in. Brink was being hesitant. He wasn't wanting to go in, and I didn't know why, and I was getting really frustrated. It's like, why is this horse not going through the gate? And if you don't know, Iowa High School Rodeo has 30 seconds between each call, and you only get 3 calls, and then you're disqualified if you don't get in before your time is up. Well, obviously that was making me way more nervous than what I needed to be. I bring him up to the gate, and I relax my whole body. I go, and I sit deep in my saddle, and that must have been the problem, because as soon as I relaxed my body, he took off through the gate. And when he took off through the gate, I fell out of my saddle behind the cantle, and all I had was the back of the saddle to hang on to. I didn't do that again, and I learned a lot from that if your horse doesn't want to go in, don't try to push him. Just sit there and wait and get yourself to calm down before sending them. It helps. It helps. You don't do this. You don't do this. That's what. My second most favorite barrel run was at the bonus race in Nebraska. That was just a crazy adventure. So after we figured out what we needed to do, where we needed to be, how much it was going to cost, we hauled all the way to Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think from where we were, that was 9 hours away, one way. We get into Nebraska, and we weren't allowed to go onto the grounds until the day of the event. Like, we weren't allowed to get there, install there until the event started. We weren't allowed to get there a day early. So we had to stay at a horse hotel. At the time, EHV was going around, and if you don't know what EHV is, it's basically COVID for horses. And this was back in 2015. People were freaking out, weren't sure if it was airborne or if it was with contact. And we get in there, and they're like, yeah, you can't stay here tonight. Mind you, we had called in advance to have reservations for there. And we're like, we traveled all the way from east side of Iowa to be here, and you're telling us we can't stay? And they're like, yeah, because that EHV virus. And we're like, well, this is who we talked to, and this is who we made reservations with. What do you want us to do? They're like, oh, I guess you can put him in the back stall in the arena. Well, we didn't know that their barn wasn't air conditioned. I don't care if a barn is air conditioned or not, but I do care when it's 110 degrees outside. And they're like, yeah, you can just keep your horse in there. And normally I would say we'll make it work, but considering that I don't need him sweating all night and chugging water when he has to compete the next day, one, that wasn't going to be healthy after having such a 9-hour drive. So we ended up keeping him in a paddock outside. Thank goodness they let us do that. He had no contact with other horses at that stable. So when we finally got to the grounds, there was 3 arenas, stalls everywhere, just horses everywhere. And they had different districts running in different arenas, so that way they could run the event the most efficient. Being able to run in a pen that big, and I would say this is probably the fastest I've ever ran Brink. Coming into the first barrel, it was absolutely beautiful. Coming around the second, we hooked it, we take off for the third. Coming around third, I kind of popped on his mouth a little bit, but running home was just amazing. It was such a great run. Such a great run. My third favorite run is Gillette, Wyoming for the National High School Finals Rodeo. I got third in Iowa for pole bending. So we hauled, I want to say it was 10 or 11 hours one way. When we got there, the first thing me and Brink see when we get out of the trailer is an antelope. And I have never seen an antelope up close before. And this thing didn't care that we were there. It just stood there and was eating and was like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, okay, wow, we are not in Iowa anymore. No, but what a lot of people actually don't know about this rodeo is I was 1 month pregnant at the time while I was running there. I was having awful morning sickness. No, but I got through okay. I made it through it. It was fine. It was great. But the thing that takes the cake though is right before my run, I had to get off my horse, 5 runners up, run around behind this like tractor disc and throw up. Mostly because I was nervous, also because I was pregnant, and then also because I was around fish fry all day. And so my stomach was just turning the whole time. I jump on my horse and I'm wiping my mouth. No, but it was fine. I got my composure, and as soon as I pointed Brink toward that alleyway, everything fogged over and I was able to concentrate and focus and zone in. But for this run, we went in there and we had 2 consistent runs that night, and then 2 days later we ran again, the same kind of thing, both really, really consistent. The second run was a 22.1 and it all went great. It was great. I got made fun of because I wore my black hat, and it was summertime, and you're not supposed to wear felt in summer. Give me a break. These are my favorite runs so far. They're the most memorable. They're the ones that humble me. They're the ones that give me encouragement. They're the ones that I can sit back and just laugh at myself and shake my head and be like, oh my gosh, when will I ever learn? I hope you enjoyed these little stories that I got to tell you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Also, remember, you can't become a professional horse trainer in a day, and you cannot create a champion horse in a day. It takes time. Just remember that. I will see you guys later. Bye.